Harry Baldock here, editor at Total Telecom, and today it's my pleasure to be joined by Stephan Rohloff, Chief Marketing Officer for DE-CIX. Thanks for being here with us today, Stephan.
My pleasure. It's my pleasure.
Great. The first thing I wanted to say was to congratulate you on last night achieving a traffic record of 10.3 terabits per second at your site in Frankfurt. So could you please talk a little bit more about DE-CIX in general and more specifically about this new record?
Certainly. Yeah, last night we have seen a new world record on the DE-CIX platform in Frankfurt, facing 10.3 tera per second. And DE-CIX is serving in 25 different locations interconnection ecosystems. In a nutshell, we run the largest neutral interconnection ecosystem on the whole planet. And what we do is to improve the quality of the internet by interconnecting networks. Our main product is peering, layer 2 connectivity, and we have more than 2,100 customers connected to our platforms on 4 different continents.
All right, one thing I wanted to speak to you about is the impact of the pandemic and how that relates to digitalization and demand. So in your opinion, how does COVID-19 influence the digitalization of vertical industries?
Well, Harry, if you have a look on the last couple of months, we could see globally that physical lives were almost on pause. So most activities were fully transferred or at least complemented by the digital sphere. And we noticed immediately after the first lockdowns in the prospective countries that the average traffic on our platforms increased dramatically. So we saw within days or even weeks, 50% plus in traffic. Almost every operation of DE-CIX has seen records over the time. If you have a deeper dig where this traffic increase comes from, you would notice it comes from collaborative tools like we are using now. It's about Teams, it's about Skype for Business, and so on and so forth. It's about the streaming of videos. HD videos is one of the main drivers. So the record of last night can be transferred to almost 2.5 million simultaneously run HD video streams. And we are very proud to tell you that this huge increase, which went very, very fast, was done with literally no interruption of service at all. So the platform was 100% up and running and could scale up to the huge increase of demand.
So is it fair to say that you see a change in interconnection demand? And if so, how could ISP carriers benefit from new concepts of interconnection based on IXP?
We see huge increase of interconnection services and bandwidth for data centers and so on and so forth. And this is so because we see more and more enterprises from different vertical industries outside telecommunication that they would try to monetize the digital assets. If I take the automotive industry as an example, they try to monetize the interconnected car, and they would like to create new revenue streams. They would like to reduce their cost, for example, for development or their maintenance cost. And all these activities to digitize business need a huge and very robust and stable and scalable interconnection infrastructure. Having said this, if you have a look how networks are created as of today, you would notice something which we call the best effort solution, meaning corporations normally create an MPLS network, they use an IP upstream provider, and they have a multi-cloud strategy. This is the best effort, okay, but it causes some issues in terms of you don't have a control where the flow of your data is really going to. And this might lead to performance issues. Latency might go up. There might be some security issues regarding DDoS attacks, regarding IP hijacking, and there might be some compliance issues in terms of legal compliance, regulatory compliance, or the compliance with other market participants. And of course, it has to be hand in hand with your company strategy. And from a network engineer's point of view, it's always a question, how complex is your network? And therefore, there is a demand of reducing complexity of network infrastructure. And this leads to a concept DE-CIX has developed based on an IXP as the core of the infrastructure. Our concept means that we have created a concept called DE-CIX closed user group, where enterprises connect directly to their partners, to their customers, and doing so leads to a number of benefits that addresses the issues I've just mentioned.
So how exactly do those closed user groups interact with one another?
So the closed user group approach means instead of connecting your company bilateral to your partners, to your suppliers, you create one closed user group. You are the owner of the closed user group, you create the terms and conditions of the closed user groups, and your partners connect directly to you using the IXP infrastructure, for example, of DE-CIX. Doing so reduces dramatically the complexity, while simultaneously you would increase the performance of your network in terms of lower latency, you would increase the stability of your network, and you would, of course, increase the security of your network.
That's very interesting. So what exactly differentiates a closed user group from an enterprise interconnection federation?
So in the DE-CIX definition, a closed user group has one owner. And this one owner defines the terms and conditions of the closed user groups, and they connect to their partners, to their suppliers and their customers using the platform of the closed user groups based on the IXP. If you take the Enterprise Interconnection Federation, there are a number of owners who follow the same approach. In this case, it could be that not only one car manufacturer is running a closed user group, but a bunch of car manufacturers would run a vertical enterprise interconnection federation using the same technology, using the same concept like the closed user group, but aggregated into a full vertical approach.
All right, thank you very much for your time, Stephan. Just before we go, I just wanted to ask you for one key takeaway message for your audience.
Well, for me, the key takeaway from the COVID pandemic is latency is the new currency. A solid digital infrastructure is needed everywhere, and the DE-CIX concept of closed user groups and enterprise interconnection federations will dramatically increase the quality of corporate networks, regardless in which industry they serve.
Thank you very much, Stephan.